Hello and welcome to another episode of the Startup Operator Roundup. I'm Roshan Karyappa.
And I'm Gunjan Saha, and together we are going to break down the biggest headlines from India's growing startup ecosystem. Last week, the country elected a new government, and startups have big aspirations from Modi 3.0, right from strengthening the EV policies to easing funding and whatnot. 10 Indian startups, which includes the likes of Pixel, Sarvam.ai, and Neeramai, have achieved global recognition by getting featured in World Economic Forum's Tech Pioneers list. Enterprise software giant SAP has made an acquisition of WalkMe, which is a digital adoption platform, for a sum of $1.5 billion. And no, this does not include any stock component, it's all cash.
Wow.
Talk about big acquisitions. EdTech startup Leverage Edu faced criticism because of an article that was published by the Ken. The article questioned the company's business stability, prompting its founder Akshay Chaturvedi to clarify certain points on Twitter. Looks like, well, media really has a role to play in shaping a startup's brand.
Kind of.
TCS has launched an AI aggregator platform called AI Wisdom Next. This platform is designed to help businesses develop and keep up with the rapid evolutions in AI. And lastly, HSBC and BlackRock have declared that their investments in Byju is now worth $0. So, probably, that a shocker?
Probably better than your investment in SBI last week, huh?
Yes. Well. Awesome. So we'll get started with this. Well, but before we get started, if you're a regular listener to our channel, then please share this video with your friends and peers. And if you're tuning into our channel for the first time, please subscribe to it. For We Talk Everything Startups, we have fantastic interviews with founders, investors, and operators. And I'm sure that you're going to have some takeaways from this conversation as well.
That's what we hope.
Yeah. Well, people are hoping a lot of things.
Yeah.
But last week, new government, the World T20 Cup started. And well, what a beginning, right?
Yeah. I mean, last week has been like a roller coaster week, right? I mean, there are, years and decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen, right? I mean, crazy. So finally, the Indian elections are truly over, right? We had the results of the election, and congratulations to Prime Minister Modi and the NDA government, right? Modi 3.0, as you pointed out, exciting times ahead for sure. And I think, for those in the business community and startups, right? I mean, what this will mean is continuity, right? On the policy front. Hopefully, there will be bold reforms and they will not be weighed down by coalition pressures and so on and so forth. But 240 is a significant number. So they still have some kind of leverage. And, Chandrababu Naidu really, truly built the Hyderabad IT ecosystem, right? So, I mean, the man is certainly forward thinking, right? So we should have some kind of support. I mean, it's like one of us is in the government in some sense, right? So, good. I mean, a lot of optimism, a lot of hope. Yeah, you know what I realized? I realized with this, bald look, I mean, I'm looking shorter than you. We should do something about it.
Damn. Do we really need to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping for my hair to grow back. But yeah, did you guys add any stocks last week? I mean, what about you? I thought you were going to punt SBI and all that.
I don't know, but I did increase the weightage of some stocks. It was a good time to buy.
Nice. It was the greatest sale of the year. Yeah. I mean, like you had some of these blue chip companies that have fallen by 15%, 20% and whatnot. Adani fell by 25%, right? That should have been some kind of a record in terms of how much market cap got wiped off in a few hours, right? But yeah, fantastic stuff.
And not only in Indian stocks, right? I think Berkshire Hathaway
I think that was a glitch.
Yeah. And people bought it for, I think, at a discount of 98 or 99%.
Insane. Like, I said, it's a roller coaster week. Yeah. But yeah, the stock markets are back, right? Pretty much recovered. Some stocks are doing even better than before, right? Again, guys, not financial advice. You're here for all the startup gyan and the memes, right? And bad jokes, of course. So who can forget that? Did you watch the USA and Pakistan T20?
See, I mean, like, on the face of it, a match between US and Pakistan shouldn't have been that exciting. because US is playing cricket for the first time in the World Cup. And well, but that match went to the super overs and Pakistan faced a defeat.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? But that's the beauty of T20, right? Anything can happen on any given day, right? I mean, if it's if the stars are shining, then anyone can do anything. The USA team kind of looks like an NRI import sort of a thing, right? I mean, the
Talk
star
about
of
outsourcing cricket
yeah,
also.
the star of the match was this guy Saurabh.
Saurabh Netrawalkar.
Right. Unpronounceable last name. Apologies to all Marathis. But fantastic guy. And seems like one of those Sharma ji ka betas, right? I mean, he played India under 19 cricket, right? International. And he's got an MS in computer science from Cornell. He's a principal engineer in Oracle. And I mean, the guy can sing, right? I mean, he plays ukulele and sings on Instagram and
Are you
whatnot.
talking about him or are you talking about yourself?
Well, I mean, I can't play cricket, but what a fantastic guy. Seriously,
Yeah, sounds like the complete deal.
yeah. I mean, Gunjan, if you're interested, But yeah, a lot of fun stuff happening. Let's get on with the startup stuff.
Yes. So the startup ecosystem has big aspirations from the new government that is forming, and they're eagerly waiting for the new policy changes, the new budget, which I think will be announced in the next month. What startups are really looking forward is to hear reforms in the EV space to strengthen that, and even to support small town entrepreneurs and ensuring financial market stability. Some of the points that we have aggregated from various news platforms include policy reforms for smooth startup funding, corporate governance, regulatory hurdles, digital competition bill, and a better integration with global systems. But what are some of the things that you are looking forward to personally?
Yeah, that's the list, right? That's the list. Manish Sabharwal of Team Leaves often talks about this regulatory cholesterol that exists in the Indian financial system, right? And I hope that is eased out, right? That it's easier for people to invest in startups and also cash out. It's easier to start and shut down companies, and those things, right, will solve a plethora of problems. Really. But other than that, as you rightly said, on the EV side, people are looking for clarity beyond the FAME subsidies itself in terms of, how we're going to build that ecosystem, whether it's in terms of charging stations and accessories and so on and so forth. The focus on manufacturing should continue, right? I mean, it's still, supply chains are still trending away from China, and we do have this opportunity to make the most of it. So I've, made the case for why we need another 100 or another 200 of these ITIs, the erstwhile ITIs, that can teach people, all of these skills on, the electronic side of things and so on and so forth. And investments, so FIIs have had a kind of seesaw time over the last couple of weeks, right? Selling and buying and selling and buying. But hopefully, the foreign capital will be back for good. Continuity is good. Continuity represents stability, and businesses love stability, right? So, really looking forward to another 5 amazing years where the India story only grows.
Yeah. I think also something to really look forward to is the implementation of the digital competition bill.
Yeah.
We have discussed that in a previous roundup as well. The way government is going to navigate this without really, hurting the big tech companies that are operating in India, because they have formed such an integral infrastructure layer in our population.
Yeah, these guys have to sufficiently Indianize, I made the point last roundup, look, we're not going to build the next Indian X. We're not going to build the next Indian Meta, right? We're not going to build the next Indian Google. Maybe we'll build something different, right? But then these companies do have an omnipotent presence here, right? They do impact our lives. And the best that we should do is to get these guys to Indianize sufficiently, right? Pay their taxes here, employ people here, build an ecosystem, and, look at our entrepreneurs, more kindly, right? I mean, set up these redressal mechanisms and so on and so forth, and be transparent in their operating practices. That's really what we should do. And look at how we've negotiated with Tesla, right? In fact, Elon Musk was one of the first business leaders to sort of wish, Prime Minister Modi post the election. Not the first. Well, Gunjan is alluding to the fact that there was a certain friend in Italy who who wish the prime minister.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later in this roundup.
Man, the melody memes are lit, right? Seriously, amazing memes. I mean, keep up with the creativity, guys. I think we should put up some of these on the startup.
I think this
operator.
elections also saw a great meme fest.
Yeah, amazing memes, and it's only getting better, right? I mean, yeah. So all of this and more to look forward to. I am super excited. I'm really kicked. I'm happy to leave behind all of this electioneering and like look forward to some policy stuff.
Yeah. But Indian startups are really making waves in the global scene. The World Economic Forum's Technology Pioneers list was announced last week. This is an annual selection of the world's most innovative and impactful technology companies that have the potential to quote unquote significantly disrupt existing industries and contribute to solving global challenges. The list for 2024 consists 100 startups, and out of those 100 startups mentioned, 10 startups are from India. So that is 10% of the list were Indian startups.
Wow, quick math.
No brainer. The startups that were mentioned were, of course, Pixel, that is in the space tech sector, Niramai, which is developing a novel AI-based test for detecting early-stage breast cancer, Sarvam AI, which is building foundational models for Indian languages. Then we have Ampere R, that is creating dispatchable renewable energy generating plants. Cropin is developing a farm monitoring and management solution. Then we have Entry, that is giving access to learning and upskilling programs in Indian local languages using AI. On the health tech front, we have HealthPlex, which is developing AI-powered electronic medical record software for the healthcare sector. International battery company that is manufacturing large-sized, rechargeable, prismatic, lithium-ion, nickel, manganese, cobalt batteries. That was a mouthful.
That's a mouthful, yeah. That's
Next.
all of the elements on the periodic table combined.
Then we have Next Wave, which is an AI-driven platform that offers vernacular-based coding courses. And last but not the least, we have String Bio, that is producing next-gen ingredients for agriculture, animal feed, and human nutrition for GHG gases. So a lot of unique companies here, right?
Yeah.
And especially apart from the whole AI bit and Pixel, of course, that we have been talking about, there's a lot of things on the healthcare and agri-tech space.
Yeah. No, Niramai has been doing some great work with breast cancer detection and so on. And it's so important, right? I mean, last week we had the session at WIMO on breast cancer and cervical cancer awareness, right? And it's something that we definitely have to solve. And I'm glad startups are, getting involved on that front. But look at the type of problems these guys are solving, right? I mean, local problems that can be scaled internationally,
globally, yes.
Right? And also proper deep tech stuff, right? AI and whatnot. So yeah, I'm really excited about what these guys will, look like in another year, 2 years, and so on. The World Economic Forum itself is a little irrelevant, right? I mean, it's become redundant over the last 5-10 years, I would say. You have like a bunch of buddhijivis from everywhere trying to be puppet masters and move the pawns here and there. But I mean, this is a good list. It's had startups like Google earlier, when Google was still a startup. Yeah. So it's a nice list to belong to, and as you said, I mean, 10% of the list, right? I mean, it's good mindshare.
Moving on, last week SAP announced the acquisition of WalkMe, which is a digital adoption platform, for a $1.5 billion cash deal. Well, if you have ever used SAP, you know it is really painful to not just derive value from it, but also to navigate from various screens. SAP, in fact, to address this issue, launched SAP Enable Now in 2017, but that really did not kick off well. The reason we're talking about this is because WalkMe is a close competitor of WhatFix. Alok Goel, who is an investor with Stellaris Partners, had published a really interesting thread as to why this acquisition could prove advantageous to WhatFix. One of the things he points out is that the team of WhatFix has pitched to SAP, but at that time, SAP said, hey, you know what? We don't need your platform. We are good on our own. We have a great tech team. We'll build something in-house.
Of course.
But clearly that did not work out.
Yeah. No, this is a very interesting acquisition, right? WalkMe is about 260, 270 million, closer to the 300 mark. And 1.5 is, let's say, 5x multiple, which in these markets is par for the course, I suppose. Kudos to Whatfix, man. I think this is a big win for Whatfix. They've been steadily taking business away from WalkMe for a while now, right? And this whole digital adoption platform itself as a category has matured a great deal over the last 5 years. So much so that Gartner, Forrester have published like multiple reports, right? And fantastic stuff. As applications get complicated, you need some kind of an assistance to kind of navigate these applications and derive value from it. That is the whole fundamental premise of digital adoption platforms. And look, I mean, this is just inspiration for others in other categories to keep plowing away and, keep at it, right? You might have a very large competitor in your space, but they are tired too, right? They're also like facing all of this macro stuff on the market and whatnot. They also have to continuously rev the engine and whatnot, right? I mean, they are facing all of these challenges, I mean, this is fantastic news, really. And again, all the best to the Whatfix team. I hope they're able to run fast, run soon, and capture more of the market.
Also, I think Khadim has really built a fantastic team at Whatfix. They're growing in size and doing close to 60 million in revenue.
Yeah, they are.
And now I think that was going to increase more with this acquisition.
Yeah. And look, I mean, all of these large guys, right? I mean, whether it's SAP or whoever else, right? I mean, they all say they can build this stuff, but
Easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. I mean, this is one of those things that used to boggle my mind, because, you have infinite resources, right? Time, engineers, money, whatever you call it. Why can't you build every application possible, right? But it isn't as obvious, right? It isn't as easy as it seems. I mean, I'll tell you, consumer internet way back when in India, the number one question VCs would ask is, why can't Google build this?
Yeah.
Right? But 20 years of Google and you realize they can't build this.
I think this time we can build another Google.
Well, let's hope Perplexity is that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. On June 6th, the Ken published an article which was titled, "The Study Abroad Business is Red Hot. So why is Leverage Edu anything but?" Leverage Edu is a edtech startup based in Gurgaon. They facilitate admissions for students in foreign universities. Quoting the article, the US $150 million startup needs both strict quality control to hold on to existing business and new markets to reduce its vulnerability as its markets raise their entry barrier. Akshay Chaturvedi, who is the founder of Leverage Edu, had taken to Twitter to clarify a few things in the article, especially on how he was misquoted and really that did not paint the narrative of Leverage Edu in a good light. Did you get the chance to read through the article?
So I don't subscribe to the Ken Morning Context. A bunch of these folks, right? I mean, I just I don't get the point. I don't want to read hit pieces on companies, on founders. I don't want to know that, really. Not to say that there aren't problems in startups. I mean, every startup I've told you is super imperfect. Right? That's what makes it a startup in the first place, right? I mean, it's almost like, the baby is learning how to walk and crawl and run, and you're, mocking the process in between, right? Short of something illegal, immoral, unethical, and so on, right? I mean, there's always going to be these kind of issues, right? Where, startups aspire to do something and they're falling well short on most days. I mean, anyone who's been an operator in startups kind of realizes that more often than not, you're failing, right? And to just say that, oh, you guys made all of this big tamasha about being, whoever you are, and then, you're such a delta or such a, a distance away from that is, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I'm an eternal optimist when it comes to startups. So I don't like reading those kind of pieces, right? Akshay has, clarified plenty on Twitter. We'll link to that thread. You guys can check it out. We won't bore you with the details. But look, this is an important lesson for founders as well, right? The media is a double-edged sword. I mean, there's a guy, Andrew Zamosta, who published this wonderful blog that I keep, referring to on the Roundup often, right? The hype cycle for startups, right? Where, the media kind of raises you, and then poof, drops you down, right? And then you make your way back again. So look, if you're going to engage journalists, if you're going to engage media, assume the worst, right? Just absolutely assume the worst, because just the way the media business is set up, I think they benefit more from scandal. They benefit more from negative news. They benefit more from, actually critiquing and pulling people down rather than the other, right? I mean, you can say that, it's probably a reflection of society and human psychology, whatnot, but it is what it is, right? So if you're engaging journalists, just through my experience, what I've realized is record every damn conversation, right? And keep
also
things...
Also research the journalist before you interview.
Yeah. Yeah,
we have had our own.
We've had our own
with that.
experiences where a bunch of data and privacy nuts, wrote some crap about one of the startups that we worked for. But it's just how it is, right? And if you look at Balaji Srinivasan or Elon Musk or even Larry Ellison, talk about the media in a way that is less than flattering, it's for these reasons, right? All of them have suffered. And I really hope the quality of journalism improves, that we're talking more positive stuff, right? I'm not saying all kumbaya, Kool-Aid kind of stuff, but like I'm yet to see something like a deep dive on a particular sector, what opportunities there are, what startups could be doing, so on and so forth, right? Instead, what you get is some of these hit pieces that just read like, page 3 masala kind of stuff, right? Minus the,
minus the masala.
Minus the cocktail party kind of photos and whatnot, right? So, overall, I know these guys will recover and move on from this, right? Because I think Akshay made the point that those who matter really won't care, right? And those who care don't really matter. So, Leverage Edu seems like an interesting platform. Right, they've built this mentor platform where people can go and take guidance on admissions, on their dream colleges and whatnot. And this is a space that is like eternally viable. It's been a hot space for about 20-25 years, right? And has assumed greater importance post-COVID, obviously. But with as many students going abroad to study and do their masters and whatnot, we need such guidance and mentorship for sure. So wishing Akshay and the team all the very best as they build their venture out.
Yeah. And also congratulations on your recent ESOP buyback program that you closed last week. And just to call out, I think Leverage Edu is only the second Indian company that has cracked a partnership with Australian universities. It's much more easier to have partnership deals with universities in Canada, US and UK, but not so much in Australia. So, and this is only the second company in India to do so.
It takes a lot of hustle, man. I mean, the kid started this when he was 24, right? I mean... It takes a lot of effort, I mean, I could go on about this for an hour, but I'll save you guys. Yeah.
Let us know what you think about this entire deal between journalism and startup building in the comments below. We'd love to go through some of your opinions on that. Moving on to the next topic, TCS has launched a new generative AI aggregator platform that is called AI Wisdom Next, and it cuts barriers for customers to develop and launch business solutions. The platform aggregates multiple generative AI technologies into a single interface. The reason I feel this is highly relevant, especially in today's time, is because the evolutions which you're seeing in the AI space is so much quicker. And think about when ChatGPT launched, right? 2 years, 1 year back, or 2 years back. And now from text-based, we have gone to vision, we have gone to speech, and now we're actually seeing AI girlfriends and boyfriends come to life.
Gunjan is obsessed with this AI girlfriend thing, dude. I mean, seriously, what is up?
Best not discussed publicly. No, but I mean, look at all the businesses that are building on top of generative AI, right? I mean, if you're just packaging an AI feature and shipping it, then by the time the next evolution of AI comes in, you're becoming irrelevant. So the most successful businesses are the one that bakes in generative AI features into existing business rules to make it much more efficient and quicker and more accurate. And these are the kind of businesses that will essentially survive.
I think it's a very relevant solution because obviously Gen AI is something that every enterprise in the world wants to adopt but don't quite know how. right? And they will require someone like a TCS to sort of help them adopt this, right? And so what I understand with the Wisdom Next platform is that they have a bunch of playbooks for different industries on how they can immediately onboard Gen AI and improve their processes by orders of magnitude, right? The greatest wealth in this whole phase is going to be made by services companies, for sure, right? I mean, we already talked about, Accenture making $4 or $5 billion of revenue, right? The largest in the space, right? More than OpenAI and so on, right? So, I mean, these are the guys who are just like acutely positioned to take over this this space as such, right? So, seems interesting, and in this interim period, you will need more such platforms, and you will need more such innovation to help people adopt this technology.
Yeah. Moving on, Kari, do you know which was one of the most valued startups in India?
No, I don't wanna say it. It's
Okay.
like he who shall not be named, or they who shall not be named. Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me which is the least valued startup in India.
We could start one right now.
It'd still be more valuable than Byju's, because HSBC and BlackRock is saying that their investment in Byju's is now worth nothing. BlackRock has become the first investor to publicly signal the company's troubles, marking their investments in Byju's as $0 in their recent financial reports.
Tough scene, really tough scene. I mean, we've spoken plenty about the implosion and whatnot, right? But look, there's going to be plenty of write-offs. I mean, folks who wrote checks in 2021, I mean, you're not going to make money off of that, right? I mean, you invest at like insane multiples, and post the correction, I mean, it's down to third or fourth of whatever the valuation was, right? So how are you going to like make money, right? I mean, it's going to be like fighting the laws of physics to even get to whatever valuation multiples are reasonable at this point of time, right? So, yeah, tough, but I guess it is what it is.
Okay, before we react to some of the most trending things on Twitter, here's a quick roundup of the notable fundraisers from the week. Lenskart raised $200 million in a secondary investment from Temasek and Fidelity Management and Research Company. Five, which is a consumer lending platform, raised $90 million from TR Capital, Trifecta Capital, Amara Partners, and others.
Wow.
Aether Energy raised 286 crore rupees or $34.5 million from Stride Ventures and its co-founders Tarun Mehta and Swapnil Jain. AstroTalk raised 110 crore rupees or $14 million from Elevate Venture Partners and Left Lane Capital. And tech startup Test Sigma raised 8.2 million from Mass Mutual Ventures, Axel, Strive, and Boldcap. One startup I really want to talk about from the list is AstroTalk. I think this is something inherently Indian. And that startup has also been in the news a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, good check sizes, right? I mean, first off.
Fundraisers are on the rise.
Yeah.
As we're seeing.
Awesome. But this Astro stuff, man, I mean, there's a huge niche, right? And any niche with India size population is a significant niche, right? I myself do check Rao column and all of that stuff, right? So I'm into it.
Is it a good time for you?
Now? I mean, I didn't check. But hopefully, yes. I mean, it's a good niche, and people do swear by stuff like this, right? I mean, they do check their horoscope and things to that effect. Some people. I don't know.
But what horoscope? The one that gets published in Hindustan Times?
No, not that. I mean, that's like entertainment and stuff. This is like proper Jyotish and stuff, right? I mean, so they will show you like what planets are causing you to behave the way you are and suggest remedies and so on, right?
Wow.
Maybe I know a little too much about this because I downloaded a report last week. I'm yet to read it, but hey.
Okay.
We all have our guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
talking about guilty pleasures, here we are, Jensen Huang signing what appears to be, well, why don't you take a look at it? So, Kari, at what point in the market cycle does the CEO of a company begin signing autographs?
Yeah, I mean, signing autographs in weird places for sure. But Jensen is a rock star, man, and I'm glad that entrepreneurs are getting that rock star celebrity treatment. Right? Obviously, creates a lot more aspiration, and more people should totally become founders and sign autographs.
I mean, just look at his face. We zoom in on his face, right? He really looks happy.
He looks like he's made it.
And more happier than him are the people standing beside him.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I mean, story time, okay? So 2013 or 14, I don't know, NASCOM Product Conclave, Fanindra Sama, okay, of Redbus. I mean, he had just sold Redbus around that time, I think. That's the first time I saw people take selfies. And that too, it was not even that, front camera time, I mean, it was, back then. And that's the first time I saw people take selfies with a founder. He got like total rock star like reception, people just lining up to take those selfies and whatnot. So we've come a long way since, although we haven't seen an Indian founder do this, and likely we won't, but
it'll get cancelled in India. Maybe.
Who knows?
So Mahesh Murthy on Twitter posted recently saying that if you've ever stayed in a hotel in Hyderabad, the Telangana cops sent your details and that of who you stayed with to an American crypto firm that never took your informed consent for this. In Hyderabad, if you look at it, there are over 1,100 hotels, each with an average room capacity of 25 and an average occupancy rate of 75%. So that means that up to 1 crore names of hotel residents a year have been sent illegally. And what is shocking here is this is done by the state police. And this data from, let's say, government bodies are leaving the country and going into private hands that are not even situated in the country. That is pretty alarming.
See, Indians are very casual about data and stuff, right? This is why we need things like the data protection bill and whatnot. While we all value the convenience that some of this stuff gives us, whether it's Aadhaar and so on, we really have to be careful how this data is going to be misused, right? This is like a seriously creepy thread, actually.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
Zebi Data. The company is called Zebi Data.
Zebi Data.
Sounds like GPT generated.
Zebi Data. Okay.
But talking about data protection, Adobe recently made changes to its privacy policies. It says that Adobe now has the power for worldwide royalty-free license to reproduce, display, and distribute whatever content you create on its platform. Now, I think as a creator, this should be pretty alarming.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on your hat trick of segues, right? Oh. Speaking of guilty pleasures, talking about India, and speaking of data and privacy, right? So, everyone, I think that deserves like a round of applause. Good job, Gunjan Saha. You're getting better as a host, somewhat, right? But this look, this is shocking, and it's black and white, right? It's pretty clear that they're saying that everything you produce using their platform is theirs.
Yeah.
Likely they will use it to train AI models and whatnot to make these designers redundant, right? Insane. So Scott Belsky, who is founder of Behance, which got sold to Adobe, has clarified on the thread saying that we put out a clarification and so on, right? But again, I don't know, right? It's in black and white, and you're made to sign a legal agreement saying that anything I produce could be your property of Adobe, right? So that is insanely unfriendly to creators. Anyway, they have people moving to Figma and Canva and all of those things. This is not great for sure.
It's like saying Amazon owns all the companies that host their servers on AWS.
Yeah, somewhat.
Weird.
That's a good attempt. Good one. Fourth one was like a little bit of a miss, but yeah.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of segues, here's a cool YouTube reel that we came across of Elon Musk and the things that he does on Christmas Eve.
Damn. What a boss.
Badass move, dude.
What a boss.
Wait, but I wonder what exactly went on in the flight for which it took a U-turn to go to Sacramento.
Man, Elon is such a boss, man. I mean, we're just like fortunate to live in the times of Lord Elon, I'll tell you. And really what he did with Twitter was an inflection point in work culture, in how tech companies are run, really. He's single-handedly responsible for trimming the bloat of all of the tech businesses, right? I mean, you have Google right now, like talking about productivity and firing people and so on and so forth, right? So Elon, again, right? Hats off to him, and I think everyone kind of owes him, for igniting that fire up people's arses, right? To get them to move faster and think beyond like whatever they've been doing. So yeah, fantastic stuff.
Okay. Kerry, I got a question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
So who do you have dinner with, Modi ji or Elon Musk?
I think Modi ji, for sure, because running a country is way, way, way more complex than running a corporation, right? I mean, a lot of the times, especially folks in the tech world, they kind of underestimate the complexity of, politics. Right, managing different interest groups, and then how all the second order effects can throw things off, and kind of think that politicians could be like CEOs, right? But they can't. They absolutely cannot, right? And despite Elon being who he is, right, which is like probably one of the 5 greatest human beings alive at this point of time, right?
All compliment.
I would pick Prime Minister Modi for sure. Yeah.
But I think that was such an obvious answer.
Yeah, it was. I mean, what do you expect?
Okay.
3.0.
Now, wrapping up the roundup, we start off talking about Indian politics. Protoswings on Twitter said that if you consume too much politics instead of actually doing things, then go out and contribute. He says that it's very easy to criticize the government for not doing their job, but oftentimes we forget that as citizens, it is our job as well to contribute to nation building and development. Kind of preachy, but I think it makes a very valid point.
No, man, he's always on point, right? So Protoswings is Shashank of Deskera. And he's one of those guys I really look forward to, reading and perhaps meeting someday, right? He's always on point. I mean, I think, there's all of this news and information flying at you. And if you live in this constant state of reaction, right, then you're just going to be paralyzed by all of that stuff. You're not going to be able to do anything productive, and that's absolutely true, right? So at some point, you have to start distancing yourself from that and also keeping it real, right? How much of that can you really influence? How much of that really, really matters? Right? So do something that is, more meaningful to your proximal surroundings, right? Simple things. Fix things around the house, like do something in your office that can change, something for the better, and so on and so forth, right? I mean, these small little things, right, really tend to add up for sure. And if you see something wrong, I mean, go ahead and fix it, right? I mean, don't think that it's, the politician's responsibility or, someone else somewhere else will do something about it, right? I mean, it could be your responsibility. And, while I'm saying this, I mean, I'm also kind of saying this to myself, right? I mean, after these elections, I have decided to pick 1 or 2 things that I'm going to start working on, right? Which could be in the realm of like public life, right? I mean, service and so on, right? And you don't have to wait for retirement to do that, Ye jo desh mera.
Okay, I think so. It was a fun conversation, man. Sing. We'll wait for you to finish.
Na 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 na. Cue Swadesh music. What a movie.
All right, guys. So I think with that, we'll let you go. Thanks so much for staying with us right till the end. We hope you enjoyed this conversation
the
as much as...
The producer is like doing the biggest yawn I've ever seen in like 3 years, I think.
It's almost 2 o'clock. I think that alarm checks out.
Yeah. He's going to get a snooze alarm now.
Yeah. Okay, all right, guys. Thanks for staying with us right till the end. We hope you have some interesting takeaways from this episode. Please keep sending us your feedback on the comment section, DM us on social media, do all the good stuff. And please rate this episode on your favorite podcast platform. That means a lot to us. That's all. Have a great week ahead. We'll be back again with more exciting updates, content, and jokes next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.